Got a young fella here that I was very pleased. He lives up in Virginia now, around Lexington, I believe. But he's quite a stylist and has done a lot to preserve the old-time country music. And I first ran into him at the Newport Folk Festival, I believe. Am I right, Mike? Back maybe about '63 or something. I'm referring to Mike Seeger. And Mike
First
certainly...
time I remember you, Mac, is Nerva Ranch with
really?
Eddie Adcock. Actually.
Very well. Yeah, I was working for Eddie at that time, I remember.
Eddie Adcock with Mac Wiseman.
Yeah,
yes.
thank you, Mike. That's good.
Yeah, I paid you good, don't forget that. That must have been about 83, right? 1983, back when Mac and I was
Backwards,
14.
Yes, it's 38. Maybe.
Tell us a story or just talk to the folks a little bit, Mike. Yeah, I know you've always got interesting things to say, and he's going to do a little picking for us, too.
Well, I guess my story is a little bit different than anybody else's, really. I'm from the suburbs of Washington, D.C. You hear a lot about it these days. And my folks didn't want to have a radio in the house, just the reverse of most people, because they didn't want me listening to Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby and all those folks. They wanted my music to be more old time because they loved folk song, but the way back type of folk song. So I didn't have a radio until the late 40s, and when I did get a radio, I discovered the local country music broadcast, and I heard that Lester and Earl were going to be up near my home in about 1952. And when I went out and heard, let's see, it was Lester and Earl and Curly Smith. Maybe you remember him.
I did.
Because you were over in Baltimore. I listened to you on the radio on WBMD. And it was a powerful experience for me to hear them for the first time. It was absolutely amazing for me, a city boy, you know, never having heard that kind of country music, you know, which was kind of new then anyway.
Yeah.
And so I got to go into Nerva Ranch, where I met a lot of you all, actually. Bobby, Sonny, J.D., Eddie and Mac, of course, and Lester and Earl. And I really wanted to try to get that music in front of the people up around in my country who hadn't heard it before. That and old-time music, because I was reared basically with recordings of old-time music. So sometimes I'd go and visit some of the old-time people in that area. That's when I met your dad, Patsy. Because although I'd lived in Washington, in the area all my life, I didn't know that he was there until the mid-50s.
Well, he wasn't saying loud enough, was he?
And it was wonderful to go visit him and some of the other old-timers. And eventually, I went to visit Bobby and Sonny's father and mother in Dayton. And got to know him just on one visit. I say that to say this, is that a lot of this of bluegrass comes from the old-time type of music. Now, whether they were trying to get away from old-time or whether they were just building on it is something we can continue to talk about. But during that evening, he played the banjo and the fiddle. I think he played a little on the guitar. And he played a tune on the Jew's harp. And I thought I'd just give you a real big change of pace here and play you a tune on the Jew's harp. Because back in the old days, before radio, it was the easiest thing to play. And then the radio came along, it was a little easier to play. And now...
Did get keys.
How do you like my K's?
First Jews harp case I ever saw.
Yes, sir. In no way. Now, it only has one note, and that's it. It's the key of F, but I think I probably better do this because it's not concert F, you see. And along the top of it, you have another note, hopefully, and you have to tell folks what you're going to play on it, because they might, they might try to tell you what to do with the instrument otherwise, so just like y'all were saying, you know. I think one of the tunes he played was Turkey in the Straw. I went out to milk and I didn't know how. I milked a goat instead of a cow. Saw a chicken in the mud just stomping on the ground. She hises up a foot and she danced all around. Turkey in the hay, turkey in the straw, turkey in the straw. Well, how do you know? Well, wake 'em up, shake 'em up, or any way at all. We'll whoop 'em up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. I had a little chicken and she had a wooden leg and a baked, but she wouldn't lay an egg. I poured hot water up and down her leg and the darned old chicken laid a hard-boiled egg. Turkey in the hay, turkey in the straw, turkey in the straw. Well, how do you know? Well, wake 'em up, shake 'em up, or any way at all. Whoop 'em up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Doodle-daddle, 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 yip-da-da, doodle-daddle, 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 doodle-daddle.
Oh, it's been a long time since I heard one of those, Mike.
I'd like to thank you all for one of the most entertaining days of my life ever since I saw Josh and Jake back in the 60s, and also continuing education. It's just wonderful to hear you all talking and singing so good.